osteotomy has the edges, it is bevel at two ends, specific bevel. Okay? And what it is used for? It's for cutting the bone, osteotomize the bone. Okay? This one. Okay? And if there is only a bevel at one edge, that is an periosteal elevator. And bevel at one edge, there are two things. One is the periosteal elevator, and one is the chisel. Okay, so you can be confused with that. But for the periosteal elevator, there will be an impression for the index finger. You hold it like this, and you put your index finger on this. Then you elevate the periosteum, okay? And it is mainly done for putting the plate. So there's a bone and the muscles are attached. So you have to strip the muscle to put a. In front it will be like this, okay? But will not have this, okay? Chisel license just to hammer, you'll have this. You'll not have this impression. Now this periosteum elevator can just be bevel at one end. Or in some, there will be a curve, okay? Bevel at one end and it will be curved, okay? So, this is the periosteal elevator. So, not to get confused with chisel, okay? So, we don't have chisel, so whatever we have brought here, most probably only these things will be in the exam. Because external so, it's for like carving a bone. Just like for chisel, there is a tumor, benign tumor like most common osteochondroma. Just to chisel it out. Okay?
Chisel function.
Then this is a tab. We have not brought the drill bit. Drill bit is used for making a hole in the bone to put a plate. First you drill. Drill will be something like this. There will be no handle, right? There will be serrations without handle. You just drill a hole. After that, you use this tab. Okay? You use this tab. It is for making a thread. There are threads here, and it will make thread in the
bone.
Okay? And after that, you put a
screw.
Okay? And so when you are putting a plate, first you will drill. Okay, then you'll use a depth gauge. So if you just see, there is a measurement here and there is a rod here. So there is a hole like this. You put it inside and you hook on the bone and you go to the end of the bone, and whatever reading you get here, that length, that will give you the length of the screw. Okay?
Screw.
So you have made a hole here. You go inside and you hook on the other side of the bone. You go to the surface of the bone, and what reading ever you get here, that will be the screw length. Okay?
Now use and determine the screw length.
Depth gauge.
Depth gauge.
And the examiner will ask you which you will use first. First is always the depth gauge. Then you will tap, because if you tap it, thread the bone is okay. If you put this, then the thread will be spoiled.
Okay.
So while applying a plate, first this you have to drill. Okay. Then after that you measure the screw size, the depth gauge. Then you tap it to make the thread inside. Okay.
Tap.
And drill bit comes in various sizes. If you are going to apply a 3.5 mm screw, you have to drill with 2.7. And if you are going to put a 4.5 mm screw, you can drill with 3.2 or 3.5. Okay? Screw banda, sand.
Okay.
And this is known as the bone nibbler or bronzer also, written as. यसो काम के हुन्छ नि बोनलाई निबल गरेर निकाल्ने है क्यालसहरु यताउता सर्ने and just go identify how you identify. If you look at this edge, it will be like a spoon. It's the previous one behind spoon. This is the other. Okay. So this is a bone.
Other name?
Ronjo.
Bronze.
Bronzer.
So Ronzer.
No, ROUNG.
Rounger. Ronger. Rounger.
Just identify this. It has a like small shape at the end. Okay. Similar to this, we also have a bone cutter. What it like? Blade. Tractor is the blade. It's a blade of tractor. Okay. Bone cutter is for cutting the bone, and this is just for nibbling out callus or the edges of your Lego. Okay. And other ones is curate. Have you seen curate?
Yeah, thank you.
Curate side. Most probably you will not be given because, but since it just came along with this, I'm telling you, curate will be like a rod and some spoon shape on the two ends. And that is for using debriding. Soft tissue you can, all the necrotic soft tissue you can debride, and also in the bone if there's callus you can remove it. Okay? Actually you can remove it. You have to remove this, but you can also remove with that bone curate. Okay? And this is known as a Omen's. Okay? Omen's. So what you do is Omen's retractor. H-O-M-E-N-S. Omen's retractor.
Women's retractor.
So if this is a bone, okay, you have used the peristernal elevator to lift all the muscles, you know. Now the muscles you have to retract. You can either apply a right angle retractor, okay, straight, and it's the blade, it's right angle retractor, which is also known as Langenback, okay. Otherwise, what you can do is, there's the muscles, you can just do like this, hit the edge of the bone and retract it. This is also retractor. This is a woman's retractor. What are the other types? Is a right angle retractor, or also known as Langenback retractor. Okay?
Women's retractor.
Langenback. L-A-N-G-N-B-C-K. Langenback retractor.
Langenback. B-E-C-K. L-A-N-G-N-B-E-C-K. B-E-C-K. Langenback.
Bone holding forceps.
Bone holding forceps.
So, if you look at this bone holding forceps, they are serrations. Okay, so the serrations are, and they are bilaterally symmetrical. Your ends. Okay, you have to note that. And then we have this knob here. This is for locking. So, if this is the bone, it's mainly used for reduction in the fracture. Okay, so you hold the bone like this, you lock it like this, okay, and the other fragment is here, bone. You also you apply the other pair here, you hold it like this, and you toggle the bone, and then you reduce it. Okay, so this is the
Bone holding
bone
forceps.
holding forceps. Similar to this, we have the, we don't have it here, but there is another thing known as bone and plate holding. Now this is only holding the bone. Okay? That was the bone and the plate. Okay? And how you recognize this is symmetrical. There it will not be symmetrical. One may be like this, or the other will be like this. For the bone holding, for the plate holding, there will be a different type of curve, and there will be more serration. So if you look at this bone holding, just both will look similar, but first look at this end. If it is bilaterally symmetrical and you have serration, that's a bone holding. If it's asymmetrical, then it is bone and
One plate.
plate. So that how it is used is similar. This is the bone. You put a plate and you just hold it like that. Okay. So since this end is one end is holding the bone and one end is holding the plate, so it is not symmetrical.
Okay.
Plate hold गर्न अलिकति अर्को स्ल्याम दिएर बनाएको छ. Okay. So this is a screwdriver.
Screwdriver.
And when you say, you have to say a hexagonal screwdriver.
Hexagonal
Okay?
screwdriver.
If you look at the tip is a hexagonal. Okay? It's not like the normal the screw that you use in the carpentry. It's a one cross or one simple line or the cross. Okay? This is a hexagonal. Why is like this? Because screw head is like that. Okay?
Screw head.
So you have to fix snugly, then you have to screw on screw. Okay? So these are the instruments. Okay? So what we have talked about, osteotome, celestial elevator, not to get confused with chisel. Okay. Then we have talked about the bone nibbler. Okay. And not to get confused with bone cutter. Which has the blade. This has the spoon shape and drill bit. Tap gauze. Okay. Then women's retractor. The other retractor is Langenbeck or right angle retractor. Okay. And this is the bone holding forceps. The other is the bone plate holding forceps. And the hexagonal
Screwdriver.
And one other which you use is a hammer. Okay. So the hammer is used for putting sometimes steel in between, hammering it. Okay, or while putting a nail, hammering the nail. Okay, and what is the hammer known as? It is known as mallet. Okay,
Mallet. Okay. Mallet.
so most probably only this will be kept. Okay, because we have this, but sometimes the examiner might want other things also, and it is important. They are big sizes, but there is a special type which is known as lowman. यसरी घुमेर गएको हुन्छ. It will be like this, okay? एकदम ठुलो curve हुन्छ, and that is known as the lowmans. Don't get confused with this lowmans. Okay?
Lowmans or
So,
lowmans?
now what I am telling you is less likely to be put, okay? But since it's important, I am telling you.
Okay.
So there is something known as lowmans
Lowmans.
retractor.
Lowmans
Mainly used
retractor.
for femur.
Femur को लागि Lowmans retractor. Lowmans. Is that forceps or retractor?
Forceps.
Lowmans forceps. Lowmans forceps for femur. Bone holding forceps चाहिँ माथिको अप्पर आर्मको लागि हैन. femur को लागि चाहिँ Lowmans.
One is the stainless steel, one is the
Implants.
titanium. Okay?
Implants.
And the stainless steel, it is made of, there's a quality which it has been made, it's just not stainless steel, Origo or the cable stainless steel. There's a quality, it is 316, okay? 316L.
316L.
316L. Just this is nice to know, may not be asked, okay? And it is an alloy of this iron, chromium, nickel molecule. Apnako proportions are sir, take proportion answer is 316L. Okay? And this stainless steel implants are more stronger than titanium. Okay? But titanium, why it is used? Because it's very like if you have to do an MRI, the stainless steel, if you have implant in a body, you cannot do MRI. But if titanium is there, you can.
Okay. MRI titanium MRI गर्नुपर्छ.
And it's also said that there's less infection with titanium implants, but we do not know, okay? Because titanium implants also, there has been infection. Implant, nails, okay? So first, we'd like to talk of this nail, which is of historic importance, nowadays not used, okay? This is a question nail, okay? Made by Gerard's Culture, okay? And this is for
मसँग छ के हेर्दा कन्सनर
Femur
हुन्छ
fracture.
कन्सनर क्लोभर लिफ भन्ने
Kuisha. Okay? Not to get confused with K wire of Goshna.
के वायर
K wire is Goshna wire. K nail is Kuisha nail. K nail or is known as Kuisha. K-U-N-S-C-H-E-R. So this is used femur fracture. Okay? And the speciality of this is it is not round like this. It has a slot here. Okay? slot. This one khali ठाउँ छ. That's known as a slot. And the ends, यहाँनिर coil छ, that is known as the eyelet. Eyelet. And this slot is used के को लागि भन्दा नि तल गएर snugly fit होस् भनेर. This is not an interlocking system. Okay, you just put it inside and leave it. So it has to be snugly fit. And where it fits snugly? In the isthmus of the bone, which is the narrowest part of the bone.
कुन part?
It is in isthmus, which is middle third, still third to junction. Okay, so this is the
isthmus.
it goes and fits snugly in the isthmus of the long bone.
Long bone.
Okay, and here if you have a cross section, it is clover leaf shaped.
Clover leaf.
Clover leaf shaped. Okay. Huh? This slot is just for like expansion or for expansion or like not contraction, but when you put it inside, it goes very snugly. Little bit expands and gets fit in the isthmus.
Isthmus.
Okay. And this eyelet is for extraction. Nail rakhisakepachi, you have to, once the bone is united, you have to remove it. So you have to put a hook here and remove it. Okay. So with this scale nail, you have to remember what is slot, what is eyelet.
Slot, eyelet.
You know, if you put a cross section, it's a
Clover nails. Clover leaf.
And it's an intermediate nail. It does not provide rotational stability.
Does not prevent.
Okay.
Yes.
So why not use nowadays?
Why not use nowadays?
Because they are better implants. That's why these are historical implants. Okay. अब तिमीले पहिला त नोकिया कति छ the femur nail, okay, femur and tibia nail, interlocking intermediary nail, okay. So if you look at this femur, it is bent anteriorly, okay, slight curve anteriorly to maintain the bow of the femur,
Okay.
okay. And here there are holes for the interlocking bolts. You can say interlocking screws or interlocking bolts. And if you look at the holes, spherical, 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 oval. The spherical is the static locking. So you put a screw, it just locks it, there's no movement. But if you put a screw here, since it's an oval, there's a space, it has space for movement. Okay, so this is for dynamic, this is for static. Okay, if there is a comminuted fracture, you don't want it to collapse, then you have to put all the 4 screws and lock it statically. But if it's transverse fracture, you have put a nail and still there is some space, you apply 2 static here, you apply only dynamic. So when the patient bears weight, fracture will collapse and there will be compression. It is for that. Okay, so static holes and dynamic.
Dynamic.
Okay, the dynamic is the oval one, spherical is the okay. So this is the femur nail. Okay,
Femur.
the advantage is it provides rotational stability. Since
Interlocking.
there is a locking bolt. Locking bolt राख्नेको अर्थ, it is not to give compression. Just put like this and so that it does rotate. Okay. So remember the curve. Okay. There is an anterior curve.
Curve.
Now contrary to this tibia, there will be a bend, okay? And if you look at this, okay, straight and there is a bend. There is an angle of around 11 degrees, okay? And that angle is known as the Argos, H-E-R-Z-O-Z, Argos bend or Argos angle.
Argos angle.
Okay? This is how you identify. Tibia ma chha yo angle huncha, femur cha there is a long anterior bend. And why is this so? Angle? It is for the insertion. Tibia ma insert garnu सजिलो हुन्छ भनेर you put this.
Argos angle 11 degrees.
Tibia ko I am tibial, I am intermediately interlocking. Okay. So if you get this, the examiner will ask you about this
Tibial
angle.
interlocking angle.
Okay, what is the name? What is the degree? And why it is present? Besides that, we have the holes similar, spherical, and the dynamic is in the uppermost. Okay? And locking can be done lateral to medially, or sometimes also from anterior to posterior. Okay, and in both the nails we have a notch here in the top. Okay, this is for the zig. And before putting a femur nail, you just cannot put with the hand like this. There is an instrument which comes here, zig it fixed like this L for you to hold and push it down or hammer it. Okay, this is for the zig. Okay, and for the zig there is also a thread inside. Okay, so it's lock. Okay, that part you don't need. Okay, zig. But if they ask you what is this for,
Zig.
this is for the zig. Okay. So no confusion with tibial nail and femur nail. Okay, you have to identify. Okay, first you have to identify. The examiner will give you have to identify. Then only the examiner will throw questions at you. If you cannot identify, then your marks is gone.
फिट गर्न सजिलो हुन्छ भन्नु चाहिँ
To insert, because tibia ma, yesterday you insert it from above the tibial tuberosity. So you keep 90 degree, and to insert it you have to have the space. This is for the insertion. Okay? Not like this. Okay? So like this.
like this.
Let's just ask you about the angle. So what is this?
Tens.
This is the tens. Okay?
13 minutes.
This,
13 minutes.
previously they do not use this. Nowadays they use this. Okay? It is more advancement. Okay? What it is used for? It's for the fixation of long bones. Okay? Especially it is for children. Okay? While a plaster matter down here, just say like the shaft of the femur fracture. Okay? And to apply this, the child has to be less than 50 pounds. Okay?
Less than 50 pounds.
Okay?
Less than 50 pounds.
That's the criteria for this. Okay?
Less than 50 pounds.
Like
यसको लागि मेजर नहोला
50 pounds.
So weight को किन क्राइटेरिया दिनु weight को किन क्राइटेरिया त्यसरी गरेको छ 50 पाउन्ड भनेर
त्यो त बडी जन्म राख्ने हुन्छ
किन सर त्यो भाँचिन्छ भनेर बाँधिन्छ त्यस्तो
भाँचिन्छ भने त्यस्तै होला and this is used for forearm, humerus, femur and tibia.
Okay, everything. Forearm,
Femur, tibia, what you do, you have to put two. Okay, one side is answer, other side is answer, and it crosses like this. Okay, like this. Suppose now I put it from here, it will stay like this. Okay, and from this, so it will be like this. It will be bent like this, other will come like this. Okay, and the principle is 3 bony point fixation. 3 bony point fixation. The principle, even in the plaster cast also, is 3 bony point fixation. Means suppose it's bent like this, other comes like this. 1 point is here, 1 point is here, and here. Ideally, there should be the fracture here. So it's a 3 bony point fixation. The principle is 3 bony point fixation.
3 bony point fixation.
Okay, and nowadays we use this because for early range of motion. Now suppose you have a shaft of femur fracture, and a plaster line you have to put for 2 months, 3 months. With this, ideally you don't even put a plaster, but you are frightened sometimes it displays. So at least 2 weeks. Then after that, only on the crutch, no plaster. So the advantage is that. Okay, and if you look at this point, here is just a cut end. Here it is a little flat. Okay, the flat is for insertion. How you insert in the bone is, first you make a hole in the bone with a awl, A-W-L. It's a pointed instrument. Bone no goje bani bone ko alphas. Okay, you have a handle and the pointed end. You just put, angle it, you just make a hole, and there's an instrument to hold this. Say a zig, and you put like this, and you just put it inside. Okay, and you just hammer. Okay. In radius and Allah, you just put a single. Okay, but in humerus, femur, tibia. Okay. So this is the titanium elastic nailing system. Okay, for long bone fractures, and it's mainly for the mid shaft fractures. Mid shaft, one you can answer the question.
Mid shaft
Distal
fracture.
ends you cannot apply.
Okay.
Okay, because the 3 bony point fixation will not be followed.
3 bony point
Okay.
fixation.
The other is the rush pin. Okay.
Rush.
This is used for
Forearm.
fractures of the forearm. Okay. Okay, mainly in children. So how it is? It will be bevel at one end, okay, tutsu at one end, and other the curve at one end. Okay. We can also insert the K wire. This is a small K wire, but given the true K wire pin also. Then even the width, okay, to 2.5, and the length also 9 inch and 12 inch. That's what how much you can also put a K wire. K wire like that, I mean, this is the bend garden, okay. So, but this is a better implant, the rush pin. How you recognize? There's a bevel end at this and curve end. So it's just like forearm fracture. Okay? In children. Okay? Now you cannot apply plates. RUSH. Rush pin. Okay? So bevel at one end and the other end is cut and curve. Okay? So this is the rush pin. So this is regarding the, just finish with the K wire. Okay? So K wire is Kirschner, K-I-R-S-C-H-N-E-R.
Kirschner
Okay?
wire.
Where it is used? This is mainly used. Without this we cannot operate. Okay? Some for use for definite, some use for temporary.
Temporary.
We have, while operation you have to have a K wire because sometimes even to temporarily fix the bone. We are going to apply a plate, but holding is difficult, so you just apply a K wire, 2-3 K wire, you temporarily hold, you put a plate and you just remove it.
Okay.
That's for temporary. For what for definite? There's the supracondylar fracture, cross K wire, okay, lateral condyle, and tension band wire. Okay? Tension band is a definite treatment. Okay? Where is tension band applied?
Patella
Patella and the body. So for the tension band wiring, you have to have a K wire and the just the coil they given it. This is a stainless steel wire. You have to use
tension
this
band
to put a tension band wire. Tension band, how is it done? Like just say this is a patella. This is one fragment of the patella. This is the other fragment of the patella. You put a K wire like this. Put another K wire like this. This is put in the center, patella tendon, and quadriceps, curve and patella tendon in the aid of figure. Then you tie a knot, okay, and create a tension so that the fragments come together like this, okay. And on what principle it is based?
Compression.
The principle is the extensile force is converted to compressive force. Just like fractures of patella, if you try to flex, what will happen? The fracture will go apart. But once you have put this, you flex it,
Compression.
In the olecranon also you extend it, then
Compress.
so the iota force will be converted to other force. Okay, so that is the principle of tension band, olecranon and patella. But tension band can be done anywhere, even in the GT. Side of fragments, so you just put an K wire. Even in the malloy fracture.
Malloy fractures.
There that the principle does not work. It's just to hold the fracture fragment. Okay. So this is about K wire and SS. Okay.
Stainless steel wire.
Yeah. And K wire both ends are pointed. Okay. Both ends to choose. Both sides. Right. Now we come to the external fixing. Look. So if you look at these two pins, they are very similar. Okay, but one is threaded at it. One is not. So what is the name of this?
Sans
Sans pin.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other is Steinman pin.
Stillman.
Okay, if it is threaded, it is sans, and if it is not threaded,
Stillman.
Steinman pin. And both the ends, they'll have a like flat surface. Think what are the flat surface? It is just for holding with the drill or the T-angle. And what it is used for? Okay. Sans is for
External fixation.
Okay, what you do is you drill a hole with a T handle like this, T also for you to hold, and you screw it inside the hole. Okay, so suppose there is a fracture here, one here, one here. Usually 4 pins. Okay, 2 near to the fracture, 2 away from the fracture. You put the pins, then you put a rod. Okay, so this is the you have put inside the bone. Now you have to have a clamp. This is known as the universal clamp. Also pin to rod clamp, but better to say universal clamp. Universal clamp को के हुन्छ भने one hole is for the pin to stay like this. Okay. The other hole is for the rod. Okay, like this. Universal clamp को clamp थियो. One goes to the pin, one goes to the rod. Okay, this is just a connecting rod. You just see the connecting rod. Okay, and suppose you have, this is going to peel this one. Put rod here. You have to connect the rod to rod. Okay, rod to rod clamp is quite different. The way is similar. Okay, same hole. Rod to rod, rotor rod. This is right here. Or the same pair comes like this and connect one rod is longer, connect rod to rod. Okay, this is rod to rod clamp, and this is universal clamp. This is sans, and this is rod used for the external fixation. Okay. And what is this used for?
Skeletal traction.
This was skeletal traction. Okay. Where it is applied, skeletal traction?
The bone, tibia.
Where have you seen mostly applied?
Upper tibia.
Okay. Okay. Tibia, calcaneum, okay, and even the distal and other femur.
Distal femur.
So, if you look at the femur, you go from medial to lateral. Entry point is from Shirang the hill, from medial to lateral. Calcaneum also medial to lateral. But for the tibial skeletal traction, it is lateral to medial. Okay. Why is that? Because we have control of the entry point, we don't have control of the exit point. So, when you apply the tibial skeletal traction, you have to always keep in mind of the common perennial nerve. Okay.
Common perennial nerve.
So that's why entry is from lateral to medial. Okay. Others from medial to lateral. Okay. And femur also from medial to lateral. Just feel the adductor tubercle and around the adductor tubercle, slightly up of the adductor tubercle. You will not be asked about the location, but you will be asked tibial skeletal traction and calcaneal femur. What is the difference? Only one is applied lateral to medial, that is
tibia.
Okay, and the reason is the common perennial nerve, and we don't have control over the exit, only control over the entry point. And what is the other type of traction you know?
Skin traction.
Okay. And how much weight to keep?
45.
Usually for skeletal is 1/10 of the body weight.
1/10 of the body weight.
And they say for the skin, half of that. But in skin, you cannot put more than about 5 kgs, 3 to 5 kgs, because it's just be held by the grip bandage, skin, okay? And always when you keep a traction, they have to have a counter traction. So the bed end will be elevated. Otherwise, if you just put a traction just like that, it will not be effective. Okay? For traction, they have to be a counter traction. So traction is given, counter traction is by the weight of your body. Okay? So before plates, we'll come to the screws. Definition thasa. Screw is a machine that converts rotational force into axial force. If somebody says you define screw, you have to say screw is a machine. That is the proper definition. Will not be asked.
Rotational force into axial force. Dynamic screw.
Cortical kinesis screw. Noise.
मुर्स त्यो त leg screw raft screw
Pedicle screw.
So first screw it has a head and a shaft. Okay? And the disc, if it is very pointed, it is a self-tapping. Means you don't need a tap. So I feel it held the lungs. But it's quite blunt, then you have to do a tapping. Okay? Head, shaft, and they are the threads. Okay? So mainly screw of cortical and cancellous. Okay, but what is the difference? So if you look,
Lag effect.
so just don't consider the head because there is a thread that is a different type. Well, I'll just explain to you. So on my left is the cortical, on the right is the cancellous. Okay. How to differentiate is that there is something known as the core diameter and the thread diameter. Okay. So if this is the metal here and the thread here, the thread diameter of the cortical is a very little coming out from the core diameter. Alikit matra thread nikle huncha. But if it's a cancellous, the thread diameter is very much bigger. Okay? And why is that so? I'll just it is now if this is a nail ko rod or shaft, you know. So this diameter for this cortical is very less, okay? But if it is cancellous, it's like this, okay? Okay? Why is that? Because for cortical, the bone is strong, you just put a screw, it will not come out. Cancellous is a very spongy bone.
Okay,
just imagine cancellous bone is an apple. If you put a cortical screw, but if you put a cancellous screw in the apple, so that is the concept. Okay?
Cortical screw.
And if you look at the head of the screw, as I told you, hexagonal. Your normal screw, घरको screw जस्तो हुँदैन 3 पार्टे या 4 पार्टे भन्छ नि कार्पेन्टर त्यस्तो चाहिँ हुँदैन. It is just a hexagonal. Okay?
So the diameter बारे फेरि भन्नु छोटो. त्यो thread diameter र त्यसको diameter.
In cancellous bone, the thread diameter is very much larger than the core diameter. But in cortical, the thread diameter is only little larger than the core diameter. Core diameter भनेको core भनेको चाहिँ यो shaft को diameter के यो diameter. Core भनेको यो diameter जुन rod छ नि भित्रको rod फला त्यसको diameter. Thread भनेको त thread को diameter. हैन अब यसको core र यसको त एकदम कम मात्रै कम ठुलो छ. तर cancellous को it is very much, okay, like this. So mainly cortical and cancellous screws. Okay? We have later modifications of the locking. पहिला plates थियो, then came the locking plates. Locking means the thread goes into the bone also. It holds the bone also and it holds the plate also. So head also has to have the screw. So that is the concept of this locking. Okay? And mainly used for osteoporotic bone.
Osteoporotic.
Okay? Locking screw. Locking screw.
Locking screw.
It locks both the bone and the plate. The normal screw just locks the bone. And the advantage is for the osteoporotic bone, you have to apply the locking plates. Normal plates like in the physical plating is okay? And it also gives angular stability. Advantage is two. One is used for osteoporotic bone and it gives stability, angular stability.
Angular stability.
Okay? So, if you see threads on the head, straight away,
Head ma pani thread
that is a locking screw. And again for the locking screw, again, cortical and cancellous, you have to look at the. Okay? So this is the locking screw. Now comes the other, the malleus screw.
Malleolus.
Malleolus screw, if you look, it is for middle malleolus. Okay, it will be partially threaded. Full thread, right? Okay, full thread. So it will be partially threaded, and the end is very much pointed. Okay, you don't need to put a tap here. You drill a hole and straight away it is inside. Just remember, malleolus screw, it is partially threaded.
Malleolus partially
Okay?
threaded.
Then partially threaded can also be cannulated screws. And how you know? Cannulate means there will be a hole.
Whole
Don't
mechanical.
get confused with this right side cannulated and this malleolus screw. How to differentiate? Both are partially threaded. But malleolus will be solid, pointed, no hole. It is a solid structure. But this is a cannulated means
Whole.
there is a hole inside and it goes inside. But here is quite fixed. And here we put guide wires and first put a guide wire, then we put this. Okay? So just look while boy it is a cannulated.
Cannulated disc.
CCS means
Cancellous cannulated disc. Cancellous cannulated disc.
don't say cortical cancellous screw. Okay? What's it from on the CCS and cortical cancellous screw. Forget about the cannulated.
Cannulated.
Okay, so cannulated cancellous screw. Okay?
Cannulated cortical.
Differentiate that. And this is a washer. You mainly use for malleolus screw and this CCS. Okay, you just put it because you are applying in this metaphyseal bone, which is a very spongy bone. When cause the screw need compression, you don't feel the compression, so you have a tendency to keep on going, and the screw goes inside the bone. So to restrict that, you have a
Washer. Washer.
WSHE, washer. Mr. Gaga, washer, washer, washer. WSHER. It's just to hold it like this, okay?
Who is it about drilling? About test.
The lag screw. Lag screw is not a screw. Lag screw. It is a technique. You can use any screws to put the lag screw technique. Okay? But basically, whenever there is a partially threaded lag screw principle, a bit of fragment यहाँ र यहाँ छ यो यस्तो गएपछि यो फ्रेगमेन्ट गर्छ जुन यो छ नि यसले यसरी खिच्दै लान्छ बोन आफै सर्दै जान्छ बट जस्ट इमेजिन इट इज फुली थ्रेडेड एन्ड देयर इज अ ग्याप एन्ड यु किप अन स्क्रुइङ समटाइम्स स्क्रु त टाइट भइसक्यो ग्याप स्टिल रिमेन्स
Okay.
ओके पार्शियली थ्रेडेड त ल्याग स्क्रु इफेक्ट हुन्छ बट यु क्यान कन्भर्ट द फुली थ्रेडेड अल्सो टु हेभ अ ल्याग इफेक्ट हाउ यु डु द्याट इज suppose this is one fragment, this is one fragment. You drill both the fragments to put a screw, but the entry point where the screw is going, that you have to drill a little bit more. Suppose you have drill your 2.7, अर्को fragment entry point मा चाहिँ 2.7 मा अलिकति बढी 3 गर्यो भने then lag screw effect आउँछ. Partially threaded screw को the lag screw effect हुन्छ but you can also use cortical or cancel screw both to have a lag screw. And for that, what you have to do, you have to over drill the where the screw grows, the first bone, that is over drilled. Just the screw over this this is where the screw is going, okay? This is the distal fragment. Here you have first put a 2.7 drill bit and drill both this and this. Second, you put maybe 3 and drill only this fragment, not this. Okay, so this hole is bigger. And when you put the fully threaded, compression option. Okay, that's known as a lag screw. Okay, there's nothing known as a lag screw. It's just a okay? But partially threaded, you put a lag screw effect option. Okay, so this is regarding the screws. Okay, understood about cortical screw, cancellous screw, malleolus screw, cannulated screw, and one more screw. Okay, Herbert screw. So Herbert screw is actually a headless screw. Okay, but this one's a head, sir. It's not proper. Okay, but whenever you see like this purple, yellow screw, okay, and the head little bit different, just say Herbert screw. And where it is used? Scaphoid and any intra-articular. The concept is, so this is a joint, one bone here, and there is a fracture here. You put this screw, you have to put it inside the bone. Bone with the zadio. Once it goes in, for lifelong you're not going to take it out. Okay, for intra-articular fracture and scaphoid. Okay, and when you get a Herbert screw like this, if you say scaphoid, then they ask you about the vascular scaphoid. Okay, then what are the other sites where there is a tenuous blood supply? Okay, you have to say about the head of femur and talus. Okay, and also if you want more marks, you can say ortho. Okay, but if you stick to 3 is enough. Okay, ortho also there is a watershed area. Okay, so just say don't be. Okay, if the action in the other place.
Load bearing device.
And nails are so if you have plate then nails fracture heal better good mount.
Nail mount.
Why?
Compressive
This is based on relative stability. This is based on absolute stability. Micro motion at the fracture site is always necessary. Okay, fracture in the cast low, nail low, there will be micro motion. There is motion on the non-union sensor. Micro motion is needed for callus formation.
Okay.
And that is a biological healing. Biological healing is better healing. Okay? So, nail has a key also. You put a nail, you can ask the patient to walk 2-3 days after operation, if the patient can. But if you apply plates, you have to rest it for 6 weeks. Okay? So this is based on absolute stability. Absolute stability means you just bring the two bones together and compress it. And the healing is different. This is by secondary intention. This is like the skin, primary intention. And this is a weaker healing. When you put a plate, actually you should not see callus. Callus definitely because there is some motion when you dance. Absolutely. When you put a plate, for some time you might see the necrosis where a gap pours up. Then after that you will just feel. Okay? If you see a plate like callus, which we actually digs up, absolute stability principle follow by that. Okay? So theoretical and practical is quite different. Okay? So these nails are better, okay, for healing. This is based on load sharing, means partly taken by the bone, partly taken by the implant, and is a better healing. Absolute means like the plate, everything is taken by the plate. Okay, bone they don't work, they are not stressed out, and afterwards if you remove a plate after 2-3 years, radius में राखें जहाँ plate बसेछ नि त्यहाँ त पुरै खाल्टो हुन्छ, bone यति thin हुन्छ, bone might just break when you fall down. You have to take care. Okay, so that's because everything was by the load is borne by the plate. Bone ले कामै गर्नु दिन्छ. Okay. So with that we come to the plates. So the first will come with the DCP. Okay. So what is DCP? Okay. The word dynamic. What is dynamic?
Changing, not static.
So when you put, so you put a plate like this, little bit gap. Okay. When you apply the plate, the bone comes and sticks together like this. And this is all because of the oval hole. If you look at the hole, it's an oval hole, like the dynamic, okay? Not the spherical. Screw earlier this place. Okay? So dynamic, what the examiner might ask you. Plate sorts of bone sort of, it is a bone that moves, okay? So how you do is, since it is an oval, so oval hole, okay? So since it is an oval, screw in the center में रखने की you have a choice. Okay? Just a fracture gap हुँदाखेरि, the ideal is one is the neutral position screw, hole को ठ्याक्कै center में राख्ने, the other is eccentric. And when you screw simultaneously, यहाँ 5-6 round, यहाँ 5-6 round, 5-6 round, 5 round, slowly the bone will move and compress. And if the bone is already in contact, you don't want this dynamic mode, then both you put at the center. Okay? So it's not that simple. The other plate method is simple, so but when you apply the screws, it's different. Okay, where you want to apply. Of dynamic compression, centric and eccentric. This is not essential for you, but just remember that it has oval hole, not
hole.
spherical. Okay.
DCP has oval holes.
यसमा कस्तो स्क्रू युज गर्नुपर्छ?
So, okay, understood about DCP. Okay. And DCP, the various forms. Okay, this is the 3.5, which is used for forearm. Okay, for humerus is the 4.5, and 4.5 has two. Okay, narrow and broad. Okay, so if you look at this, both are DCP. This is a 3.5 mm system. This is a 4.5 mm system. And when you just talk, we don't say 3.5 or 4.5. When you just talk among ourselves, we say this is a small DCP, but it is a 3.5. And 4.5 again divided into two: narrow and broad DCP.
Narrow and broad.
This is a narrow means this is a like it's not proper. Okay, narrow means all the holes are in one line. Okay, broad means one hole is here, one hole is here, one hole is staggered appearance. Okay. So DCP 3.5 mm system and 4.5. 4.5 is narrow and broad. Broad means staggered. And what is the advantage of staggered? You can apply screws in different directions. Suppose screws in direction and go any pull out strength is less. But if one screw is going like this, one is going like this, one is going like this, that pull out strength is very much great. Okay? And the patient will look at the X-ray. Doctor, the screw ni bangu they don't know and we don't explain anything like this. Right? Where you apply the screws, we know, they don't know and they just look at the X-ray. You would have screwed the bangu so why not 3.5? It's too small, 3.5. How will you make stagger? You throw 4.5 here we don't have that. Okay, here 1/3 tubular plate. Okay, it's a patlo huncha.
K plate or
Only curve huncha.
So के प्लेट
1/3 tubular plate.
1/3 tubular plate.
If you look, it is very thin. DCP is more thick, and here it will be curved like this. Okay. Tube go maybe they say it is 1/3.
Tubular.
Tube go 1/3 काटेर निकाले.
1/3 tubular plate. एउटा पाइप को 1/3 यसरी काटेर निकाले जस्तो.
हातले पनि बाङ्गिन्छ. Right? And त्यसबाट जस्तै यो अल्नाहरुमा फिबुलाहरुमा जहाँ एकदम if you apply a DCP, what will happen? It is very prominent. You apply this. Okay, 1/3 tubular plate.
1/3 tubular plate.
Tubular or fibula. Okay. Now this is
Recon plate.
recon plate. Means reconstruction plate. So you can DCP just हो, but at the end of this bone, यहाँ notch बनाएको छ. And it is for reconstruction means you can just bend it. यसरी गरे पनि हुन्छ, यसरी गरे पनि हुन्छ. यसलाई S shape बनाउने भने पनि हुन्छ. Clavicle को लागि यही हुन्छ. Reconstruction. Okay. So with a plate bender, whatever shape you want, like S shape, clavicle, easy yes sir, you can make this. Okay, or you can bend it lateral bending or AP bending. Okay. हुन्छ त्यसरी हुन्छ यो हातले गरे पनि अलिक गाह्रो छ. टाइटली त भाङ्गिहाल्छ. This we need forceps or this. Okay. Mainly for clavicle and pelvis. Pelvis मा चाहिँ कसो छ? The surface is curved, so you want, if you want to apply in this curve, you have to bend like this and apply on this. Okay. So reconstruction for clavicle, pelvis, and even fibula can be applied. Okay.
Fibula.
Both 1/3 and recon. Now we come to the locking plates. Locking means locks in the bone, and the screw locks also in the plate. Okay. So it is known as LCP, locking compression plate. Okay. And विभिन्न ठाउँहरुमा जहाँ लायो त्यसको नाम. All are the family of locking compression plate, LCP. So we can have in the knee tibia and tibial plateau where you apply. It's a proximal tibia. If you apply the distal tibial locking plate. If you apply the distal femur locking plate. But the principle is the same. Okay, locking compression. So first I'll just show you about this distal femur, the long one. This is a distal femur locking plate. Okay,
distal femur
locking compression. There is a combi hole. If you look at the hole, there are two holes. Okay, in one there are thread, and one there is no thread. The thread hole, here we apply the locking screws, and the non-threaded hole you apply the simple screws. Okay, so this cannot itself, if you put all the locking screw, it cannot give compression. Okay, to apply a compression you have to have the normal screws. So when you see this implant being applied, you will see that some screws are simple screws, non-locking screws, some are locking screws. Okay, so locking screws, just remember there are two holes. Okay, one is for the locking screw, one is for the non-locking screw. And this hole is also known as a combi hole, combination of two holes. Okay,
combi hole. Combi hole.
And there are small holes like this. This is just for the temporary fixation with the K wire. Implant wire before putting the definite screw, temporary hole with K wires. Okay, so there are small holes here.
Temporary hole is K wire.
So just try to remember this shape, stem, and this flares out like this. This is applied in the distal femur. Okay,
distal femur.
Flare and just open up. Okay, so this is a distal femur. Okay. Let's see. And this straight and it coming like this out. This is a proximal tibial locking plate for tibial plateau fracture. Okay. Same thing. It has the combination hole. Okay, the holes for the K wire.
Combination.
And here in the metaphyseal area you only have the locking holes. Okay. And in this there is one more thing. Okay. If I just do not concentrate on this, I remove this. Suppose there is definitely a combi hole of the LCP. But if you look at back, look here. Back here, sir. Hold on. If you look at the back, okay. Here is this one. So this is known as the LCDCP, like a low contact dynamic compression plate. If I remove this, okay. All seriation is is known as the LCDCP, not LCP. LCDCP means low contact dynamic compression plate. And this advantage is you put a plate, the peristitial blood supply will be better. There are some areas
peristitial blood supply will be better.
So better blood supply. I don't know whether it is that or not, but if this is shown like this, you have to say it's LCDCP. What is the principle? For better peristitial supply. Okay?
Better peristitial supply.
And then you have, if you come to like it, then they can see all the blood supply wrong in the forest. So just a question about it. So they go into your theory part, and that is part about height. Okay. So LCDCP will say for better blood supply. And tell me the blood supply wrong. What is okay? That's very 5 hours, right? Example now, sir. Actually, TCP. This is what TCP. Or same agadi and that is known as the LCDCP. But this, now we come to the other. So the locking compression plate can be of various, right? Now this is for the tibia, distal tibial locking plate, right? Only to the fourth side, right? Femur, this is like symmetrical, like this, and symmetrically it is like panning out, okay? Symmetrical side, femur side, okay? Is somehow like asymmetrical, the curves, okay? If you see asymmetrical, this is the distal femur locking plate, and this is the distal tibia. Okay, but this is detail must show then. If you just say LCP, you know the principles, you know what's supposed to use, because you create the company on some product is the one idea, okay? Right? And similarly, you can have for this digital radius factor, right? Digital radius factor, please not put here. It could be a locking compression plate or the simple plate. आकार चाहिँ के हुन्छ? Oval हुन्छ अनि चाहिँ is either T or the T oblique हुन्छ, right? It will not be kept because यहाँ छैन. But you can have locking also, right? T plate या T oblique. Simple holes मात्र भएको पनि हुन सक्छ or locking पनि भएको हुन सक्छ, right? Now we come to the favorite one. Dynamic screw. Dynamic screw is a part of the point. So this is the lag screw. This is the compression screw. Okay. So what are the parts? Lag, compression screw, and the barrel plate. Okay. And what it is used for? Intertrochanteric fracture. Intertrochanteric fracture. Intertrochanteric also, if it is not a reverse oblique. Okay? Intertrochanteric fracture means fracture from greater trochanter to the lesser trochanter. Greater trochanter is here, lesser trochanter is here, and the fracture is coming from GT. Not from the LT going down like this. Okay? If it is going like that, that is known as the reverse oblique fracture. Then this implant will not work. Okay? Because compression is on them. So how it works? First, this has to be put into the neck and the head of the femur. This is known as the lag screw. Then we put the barrel plate like this.
Barrel plate.
Barrel plate like this. You shorten it. Barrel plate. You put the screws in the femur. Then you put the locking compression screw. You can leave it like this, or some people do not even put this locking compression screw. Dynamic ortho के हो भन्दाखेरि यसरी बसेको हुन्छ, and this moves, okay? Even though if you put a screw like this, right rotate बसे पनि there is some movement. There is some movement, okay? So when the patient mobilizes, collapse भएर fracture compression. Only virus मा त जान्छ, but there will be a fracture compression. Two ends come to end, then fracture will be. Okay? So this is a favorite one, okay? Dynamic hip screw. And dynamic ortho, the fracture will collapse, this moves. This is a very similar like this. This angle you have to know, okay? This is 135 degree.
135 degree.
Angle shown. What is that? Okay. And similar like this, lag screw, barrel plate, vago. Even in the distal femur you can put, and that is known as the DCS, dynamic condyle screw. Okay. What is the difference? This angle is 135. That is just 95. Almost right angle mounts, and that is used for this distal femur supracondylar fracture, intercondylar fracture. Okay. The ragdan femur, just if you ask, they ask you this about 135. Or the conclusion is this is what is the angle? 95, okay? Yes, clear. Condylus. But the word D means for dynamic. Here it is illustrated dynamic, right? But DCS ma khasai chani testo dynamic hudaina, but the name is DCS.
माथिको DCP को dynamic अर्को यो भनेको dynamic अर्को हो.
Now we come to the process. What is prosthesis? What is orthosis? Orthosis just
enhance the function.
Just help enhance the function. Okay. So all that you can see the mindset knee brace launcher, cervical collar launcher, and there is something known as the ankle foot orthosis. Leg ma jansa, foot ma jansa, right ankle mancha. AFO, ankle foot orthosis, is used for the foot drop. That is just help maintain the function. That is orthosis. Even the chasma is orthosis. but this is prosthesis. Okay, endoprosthesis. Okay, if you replace the limb, then it's exo. But just don't say endo or exo, just say it is prosthesis. Okay. So what is this? Austin move. Okay?
Austin Moore implant.
Austin move. You have to have the fenestrations, and there is a hole for the extraction. Okay. So this is the head, this is the neck, this is the stem, and two fenestration, and the other hole for extraction of the implant. Extraction निकाल्ने त होइन, राख्दाखेरि कहिले कहिले मिल्दैन. So you have to keep on manipulating for that. Okay. And what are these holes for?
त्यो बोन ग्रो हुनलाई त्यहाँ भित्रबाट
Huh?
बोन ग्रो हुनलाई त्यहाँ भित्रबाट
What you do is the head जब हाल्छौँ त्यसको बोन निकालेर हामी यहाँ हाल्छौँ. You put and there is a bone ingrowth and it becomes more stable. Because in this we are not using cement. This is a cementless process. In Thompson you have to put a cement. Okay. So in Austin Moore you will find these two holes, fenestration and hole here, and the stem also will be long. Okay. But here the neck will be short. Okay. So to put the Austin Moore prosthesis, बिरामीको चाहिँ नि neck of femur fracture त भयो. The lesser trochanter भन्दा अलि माथि there has to be a stalk of bone in the calcar. Okay. The calcar is the most strongest part femur bone. Okay. Lesser trochanter, from the lesser trochanter to the greater trochanter on the posterior side you will see there is a stalk of bone. That is known as a calcar. Okay. So if femur calcar छ भने चाहिँ you use this. If lesser trochanter को माथि bone stock छैन, at least you have to have 2 cm to put this. यहाँ गएर rest गर्नु पर्यो हैन. छैन भने चाहिँ you have to use a Thompson cemented prosthesis. Okay. Mostly we use this because it's easy. But if the stock of bone is not there above the lesser trochanter, then you have to go for Thompson. And Thompson there will be no hole, and it will be a short stem, but the neck will be a little bit larger. Okay. So if you get this, you will be asked about the blood supply also.
नेक ठुलो हुन्छ स्टिम सानो हुन्छ.
Okay. So Thompson, Austin. Okay. And there is another something known as the bipolar prosthesis. Bipolar भनेको चाहिँ हेड सधैँ छ, हेडको सत्ता माथि अर्को एउटा कप जस्तै हुन्छ, and it just rotates. Okay. And you just put it inside. We don't touch the acetabulum. Okay. If you touch the acetabulum and put a cup there, that is the total hip.
Replacement.
You have to replace the acetabulum. You have to put a cup there, and you have to put this femoral head and stem, and that becomes a total hip. Now this is just a partial hip or the total, partial or hemiarthroplasty. But even in this, there is something known as bipolar prosthesis. हेड त छँदै छ, हेडको माथि अझ अर्को एउटा कम्पोनेन्ट हुन्छ के जुन यसरी मुभ गरेर आउँछ. And they say that it has a better outcome, but ultimately the जुन movement हुने अर्को कम्पोनेन्ट छ, it freezes and becomes one component. Okay. So bipolar prosthesis. So with this we finish the implant.